Hey, Divine Ones, welcome to another episode of my live show. Just to start out, I got an announcement. I'm moving my live show from Sunday to Wednesdays now because I want to do Well-Being Wednesdays. What is the topic that is I'm the most passionate about and is most important to me is well-being, the experience of it in our lives and the embodiment of it in ourselves. And so I want to share on Wednesdays what I've learned along my journey, tips, tools, principles, teachings, etc., on how just to do that, how to be a well-being as a soul having a human experience, right? What it takes to be a well-being. So I'm going to be sharing that on Wednesdays. So I'm no longer going to be doing the lives on Sundays. I'm going to be doing them on Wednesdays now. And I'm going to try and shorten them because I know a lot of you all were saying some of them were the great info in my videos, but they were a bit long. So I'm going to be shortening these a little bit. But so today I want to talk to you a little bit about what well-being means to me. If you're new to me, you know that if you're new to me, my journey into well-being started in 2004 when doctors gave me 7 days to live. And on my deathbed, I healed myself using what I knew about creating our own reality. But a year and a half later, I found myself back in that same hospital. And instead of 7 days to live, this time I had 48 hours. And that's when I had a near-death experience where I had a conversation with Source, or what some people call God, and was told that the key to true well-being is to love ourselves well. And that started a multi-year journey into learning how to love my way, what I call self-love my way, to well-being, into experiencing well-being in my life and becoming a well-being in the world. So I'm going to share with you what well-being actually means to me, and what I teach of it, and what I help people experience of it. So what well-being actually means to me is when my way of being matches the truth of my being. When my way of being matches the truth of my being, meaning when the way I operate in the world, my lifestyle, the way I treat myself, the choices I make for myself, how I show up in the world, matches the truth of my being, the truth of my soul. It matches my worthiness. It matches that all is well in my life. It matches that I'm safe in the world. It matches that I'm loved and cherished, and that I deserve, and that anything is possible for me and I can create anything. Like all of those divine truths, when my way of being, when I have embodied those truths and it's reflected in my way of being, what I've come to know is that's when all is well. All is well in my body, meaning the health of my body is optimal, and all is well in my life. And not just all is well, but all is also coming, meaning that all of my desires, my deepest desires and my dreams, my innermost cravings, that's when they start to manifest. That's when they start to have a more fulfilling experience in my life, is when my way of being matches my truth of my being. Now, again, the truth, I've done several videos and we've talked a lot about this, but I'll share just a little bit about it now. You know, the truth of our being is that we are enough and wholly worthy as we are. That there's nothing wrong with us, right? That there's nothing wrong with our personality. There's nothing wrong with our identity. There's nothing wrong with our body. That all of our being is wholly deserving and lovable. The truth of our being is that this world is a safe place for us to be in, especially to be and express all of ourselves, right? That's what the soul knows. That's what the divine God part of us understands, that this world that we're in is not that it is a reflection of us. It is a creation of us. That's all it is. It's not happening to us. It's happening through us. And the more I begin to understand that, then I understand that in order to have a safer and more delicious experience, then I have to feel safe. And I have to feel joyful within my own internal state of being. Remember, our internal state of being, which is what we believe and how we feel, especially what we believe and how we feel about ourselves, that determines our external reality. Our external reality is only ever a reflection of our internal state of being. So if we want a better external reality, we want a better life experience, it's not to kind of try and go and fix the external things. That's kind of like saying you want a different house, but you're just continuing to rearrange the furniture within your house, and you're still living in the same house. The furniture's just rearranged. If you want a different house, you've got to change. You've got to change your address, right? Which is, and how you change your address is you change your internal state. You feel better. You bring your belief systems back in alignment with the truth of who you are, and you bring your energy, which is how you feel. Right? You bring your vibration back in alignment with the truth of what you are, which is love. Right? It's love. And so, hey, you all, saying, hey, I see you. Thank you for joining me here on Wednesday. And so the way to having your way of being match your truth of your being, which I found out is the only way and the only key, is to love ourselves. That's the way, that's the key and the path to true well-being, to having an experience that feels like all is well and all is coming. And loving ourselves, why that's the key is because the practice of loving ourselves really is about coming back home to ourselves. It's about returning to ourselves, the truth of ourselves, our true selves, meaning coming back home to the truth of who we are in the way we think about ourselves and what we believe about ourselves. And then feeling internally, right? Having in our vibration that our vibration is in alignment with who we really are, with our soul's energy, right? Which is the energy of love. And so that's pretty much, at a nutshell, the practice of loving ourselves. Now that looks different. And I teach that there's 3 pillars to doing that. There's 3 kind of cornerstones for how you begin to come back home to the truth and energy of who you really are. And that's to cherish yourself, right? Which is to start to view yourself with unconditional positive regard, and to honor yourself. And that looks like, speaking up for yourself, setting healthy boundaries. It looks like expressing your true nature, your authentic self in the world, feeling what you feel, trusting in your inner wisdom and surrendering to your divine guidance. And it looks like nourishing yourself, right? It looks like understanding that there's 2 parts of your being. There's the biological part, which is the part we see here, right? You see me here in this brown skin and this graying goatee and this black shirt. That's the biological part of my being. And but there's a whole nother aspect of my being. And that other aspect of my being is actually the larger part. Is not just the larger part, it's the oldest part, it's the wisest part, it's the most powerful part. And that's we have the biological, and then you have the spiritual or the energetic part, which is your soul part. And that part also has needs, just like our biological makeup has needs, just like our body has needs. We need to feed it, we need to give it water, we need to give it accurate sleep, we have to give it shelter. We need to give it good air. Like, in order for our bodies to survive and to experience some type of thriving in the world, we have to meet our biological needs. Well, our spirit has needs too. Our soul has needs too, and those needs are usually energetic, and those needs are usually emotional, or what some people call psychological. So we have to feel loved. We have to have a sense of belonging. Feel like we have a sense of belonging in community. We have to feel a sense of freedom and authenticity. We've got to feel a sense of joy, right? We have got to feel like our life is fun, and we have a sense of pleasure. And we got to feel a sense of peace. Like, we have a sense of ease in our life and a sense of moving through the world without conflict and stress. So when those needs are met, when our soul's energy needs are met, all becomes, it raises our vibration. It charges our body with life force energy, which keeps our body healthy. And it raises our vibration, which allows us to manifest our dreams and our goals, and not just our dreams and goals, but manifest experiences, events, and relationships in our life that are more loving, that are more fulfilling, that feel better, and that make us feel like our life is delicious, what I call soulicious, right? That is nourishing and delicious to our soul. And that's the key, right? Because if we don't do that, right, when we don't cherish ourselves, when we hold some type of shame within us, when we feel like something's wrong with us, when we feel like something's not enough with us, if we feel like, we're constantly judging our bodies, we're constantly feeling like we're not wholly lovable as we are, and something needs to be fixed or changed about us before we can be fully lovable. When we don't cherish ourselves, then we begin to hold an energy within our body that withholds the truth. It becomes misaligned with the truth of our energy, like the love energy that we are. And actually, when we hold shame in the body, it drains life force energy from us. It depletes us of the life force energy, and our bodies cannot stay healthy very long with high amounts of shame. So when we're not cherishing ourselves, we can't stay healthy, and we can't begin to manifest a life or experience a life that seems to cherish us either. Right? Cherishing us is the path to beginning to embody our worthiness. The same goes for when we honor ourselves, right? If we don't set healthy boundaries, if we're not really expressing our truth, our true selves in the world, and if we're not like following our inner guidance and trusting it, then one, we don't feel safe. Right? Because we feel violated, and we always feel like our lives is out of control because people continue to cross our boundaries. When we're not trusting ourselves, we're not really guided to our highest good, and we feel like we have to work really hard, and we feel like life's not working out well for us. When we are not being our true selves in the world, our lives feel like bondage. We don't experience real freedom. Right? And so those things are the opposite of well-being. And when we're not nourishing ourselves, right? When we're not living a life that meets the needs of our soul, like that meets the needs for joy and love and belonging and peace, it's really impossible to be happy. It's really impossible to feel fulfilled. And it's really impossible to really feel alive. It's really like when we're not nourishing ourselves, we start to feel like our life isn't worth living. That's when depression starts to come up. That's also when illness, when our energy is not nourished, that's when energy starts to come up. And also when your energy is not nourished, your vibration isn't high, and no matter how many vision boards you do, no matter how many manifestation workshops you take, no matter how many retreats and chakra cleanses and all that you do, if you're not nourishing your energy, you're not going to be manifesting your desires on any type of frequent basis, let alone with any type of consistency or joy. Right? That's when we start to believe, that's when we're not nourishing our energy, that's when we start to believe that, this law of attraction stuff and this creating your own reality stuff is bullshit. When actually it's the truth. You just don't have a energy that's allowing that type of stuff to show up for you. So loving ourselves is the way to well-being. It's the way to embodying the truth of who we really are, like believing that solely in our consciousness, understanding that we're worthy and behaving in the world like we're worthy. It's the key to also being in alignment with your soul's energy, because the more your energy is nourished, the more you're going to be in alignment with your soul's energy, which feels good and feels like love, because that's what it is. So that's what well-being is to me, you guys. And that's the process to it. And that's what I teach. That's what I'm here for. I've learned a lot about how to do those things in my journey. I did not start as a well-being. When my journey first started, I was the furthest from well-being. I had a lot of shame in my life. I had a lot of fear. I definitely wasn't putting myself first. I definitely was not living a life that nourished me or my energy. And my journey really taught me in many, many different ways, through many mystical experiences, blissful experiences, painful experiences, really what it really takes to do that, really what it takes to cherish ourselves, honor ourselves, nourish our way right into a life that tastes and feels delicious and that makes you feel most alive. And so on Wednesdays, from now on, I'm going to be coming and I'm going to be sharing some things from my journey that I've learned about how to do that. We're going to be talking uh, on all many levels, but from a soul perspective, because what I believe very strongly is that you are a soul having a human experience, and that experience is supposed to be well and delicious. That it is, you are supposed to be well in your body, and your life is supposed to taste delicious to you. And so we're going to talk about here how to do that, right? And that's what my classes are going to be about. That's what my work is going to be about. My one-on-one sessions are for people who, are spiritual seekers who are ready to have the experience of well-being in their life, right? You may have taken the classes, you may have read the books, you may have, done the diets, you may have, done all the manifestation techniques, but you're really ready now. And those things have gotten you to this point, right? They've worked to a certain degree. But your full life, right? The whole arc of your life is not really delicious, right? You wouldn't really say that you're fully experiencing well-being. And I know the missing link to that is to love yourself. Love is always the missing link, always. And my work is to help you do that more so that you can experience well-being in all areas of your life, and your life can be a delicious experience like you intended when you came here. The soul came to live deliciously, and if anybody's telling you any different, they just don't have the complete picture. So until next time, you all, I love you. Go love yourself until your life becomes delicious, because you deserve it. Bye.